then let's get started. Hi, today's Tech Tuesday is on the ways to give feedback in assignments on Moodle, and specifically we're going to talk a little bit about the new way that finally works, thanks to some help from Dan Studebaker here and reading some Moodle documents that originally didn't make any sense at all, but I think we got ourselves working finally. So anybody who's joining us online, that's the topic for today. So we're going to go ahead and add a Moodle assignment and talk about the different ways we can give feedback. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my demo area, turn editing on, and I'm using the shoelace theme, which yours may look slightly different, but depending on which theme you're using, the editing button may be different. But once we get editing on, we can go down and click our add an activity or resource. And we're talking basically about the different ways we can add assignments and give feedback for those assignments and look at the different options that we have. So when I click to add an assignment, I'm going to add, see, that's what I hate that right there. I wonder if there's a way to make it a two-column theme for when editing's on. You know, I wonder if that's an option in there. We're going to have to look at that, because maybe there's an editing one that makes it two-column with just the left in the center, and then that stupid right thing would go away because it's wasted space.
I actually, yeah, there's like 10 or 12.
I know there's tons of. So anyway, so we have to add an assignment name, so we're going to call it reading response 2 for my my class, and read second article and write a critical response. And maybe I've got something like that I do in my class all the time. So once I've got the assignment set up, I'm going to go ahead. Did I already hit expand all? I'm going to hit expand all so that I've got all the options here. Just like assignments, we can drop additional materials. If you get a rubric that you want to drop in there, that's a great place to drop your rubric so students can read that. By default, it's going to allow the submissions from today through, the default is 1 week. So it picks a time 1 week in advance, and it sets the cutoff date, which is disabled, and reminds you to grade on the day that it's due. I like this to be a week later is what I set, and that's the remind me. You get a little email that you need to grade those things. So down here, the kind of submissions, I'm going to say this is an online text and a file submission, because we're going to show what each thing does for me. If it's an online text, you can set a word limit and say it's got to be how many words, number of upload files, and then we get down here to the feedback types. By default, the only one that's checked is feedback comments, which allows you to type in comments into a area of the grading sheet for the student to read. However, there's a couple other items here that I know some people use. Ms. Tinsman uses the feedback file. She actually edits the document and then drags it right back onto their assignment so that she feeds back with an actual file. I think once she sees annotate PDF, she might change the way she does it, because I think the way she's doing is great, but now that we have another way, that might be too much work. If you click big feedback file, then where you grade the student, it has a drag and drop area that you can drag things into. And then the other new way that we just got working is annotate PDF. And we're going to show all those things here in this one assignment and what they look like when you turn them on and off. Comment inline is the last one. It allows you to type in there in the feedback comments area. So basically what it does is it copies whatever they types into the feedback comment area. I'm going to leave that as a no this time. So that you can type right where they type to comment there. So the last thing down here on assignments requires student to click the submit button. If you've got it open for a long period of time and you're allowing students to do drafts, you might want to say that you want a button that says, now I know you're done. And that's when I'm going to grade it. That's what that's for. I don't use that because I say if it's due on Tuesday, I can grade it anytime after Tuesday, and when I grade it is what you had done. However, if you're giving them time and you want to say, hey, it's due between this date and this date, you can make them submit that they're finished. That's what that does. Do you require them to submit at all on this, or do you not do many of these kind of activities?
I don't actually do many of them, but, I kind of like it just that they, are you sure? Yes.
So
Do you actually want to do that?
I guess my thing is, if it's due on Tuesday and I grade it on Wednesday, I grade what you turned in. Now, the downside is, what if they're going to work on it and they'd rather take 10% for it being late than the 60% they got for the poor submission? Because I've got one student who had his submission got 60% on the assignment, and if he had not said to grade it, he would have gotten 10% off for being late when I did grade it a week later. Now I let them redo it. It's kind of making work on me, because then I graded it once and now I'm going to grade it again, but he's going to lose 10%, but he can bring it up 30%. So hopefully he redoes it after I talk to him.
And that's if it, that's basically individual tastes. There's a lot of different things you could actually do with this.
The next thing there says, require the students to accept the submission statement. Basically, it's a statement saying, I did not plagiarize any of this. You have to accept the fact, and here's that students required to accept the submission statement for all submissions. It's a canned one right now. We can change the words on it if we want to, but it pops up and says, yes, I understand. In fact, you know what? I'll turn this on, and I'll turn this on to show what it looks like, because we're going to become another student and submit it anyway here in a second. Reattempts opened. There are 3 different ways these can be reopened. Never means once it's submitted, it's submitted, it's submitted. Manually just means I can reopen it. In other words, if I grade it and it's an F, I can just say reopen the assignment, and now they have the ability to edit it again. Because once they submit, they can't edit. So I can just say, nope, I'm not going to accept that paper, and I can reopen it. The other thing is automatically until passes. So if you set a passing grade as 70%, you give them anything less than a 70%, when you grade, it's automatically reopened, saying, do it again. I don't have to individually do it. That's what, and that uses the pass grade down in the completion area for what it uses there. So automatically to pass, the student submission automatically reopen it until the student achieves the grade to pass set in the gradebook setup section for this assignment. Students, if they're doing a group project, they can submit in groups. I've never done that before. Not even sure how that works exactly.
Well, I'm pretty sure you would end up having to actually make the groups. So
it wouldn't be on our class groups. It'd have to be other groups.
Well, that's the thing, is that if you did actually do that, the only groups that you have available, which would be your demo and the one that's preset already.
It would be everyone. So notify graders about submissions. I don't have that. I have it notify me on late submissions, and my reason for that is because everybody should submit it on time. I don't want 20 emails. But after I've graded, because I'm assuming I'm going to grade reasonably close to when it was due, if you turn it in late, then I do want an email, because otherwise, why would I go back in and check? Did you get it in now? Did you get it in now? Did you get it in now? I just let it email. And my default is not to notify students every time I grade. You may want to. I don't know. What do you use? Do you have an email every single time you grade an assignment? I don't. It seems they've complained in the past. There's a lot of emails when they use
Right.
stuff.
Most of the time I try not to, just because of that. And the simple fact that if you're actually going in
and looking at them,
yeah, they can see them.
they get an email like I'm starting to grade, and I agree.
Yeah.
So that's why I say no. However, you can change that anytime, so that if I'm grading a late one, I can checkbox yes, so they get an email that I graded that late thing. So last thing down here on the assignment, it's going to be point value. We're going to say this thing is only worth 10 points. We're going to put it in the formative category for first quarter. I honestly don't know what the bind grading and workflows things are. I have never used those, and that's new in this version. Identifies the students to graders. Bind grading setting will be locked once the submission or gradement. No, I don't use any of those. Although we might use this grade to pass, saying that they've got to at least get a 7, and that's where it's saying that it would reopen it. So if I grade them and they don't get a 7, then it's going to automatically be reopened, so they get a chance to pass the assignment. You may say passing is anything above 6. You can say 6.5, and that way they at least have to have a B+ in order to not have it automatically reopened. Again, I don't know. I don't know why, if you're going to reopen resubmissions, you'd only do limited number of kids with that. You know, I don't know. It seems kind of however you want to do it. Availability, show on the course page, make available but not shown. That's a new thing in version 3. That's part of that. So it's show or hide, make available but not shown on course page. That's one of those stealth assignments, meaning that if you do that, shows in the gradebook as an item, but they can't ever find it. It has to be linked from somewhere else. So have you done those yet? So you can have a book or you can have an activity that the only place to get to this is from the link. It's kind of nice when you're trying to gamify and you say read this section, and in this section it says do this activity, and they go, I never saw that aside. It's like it was right in the reading. Did you read the reading?
I'm having people have a difficulty finding ones under restrictions. Like as in, I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
Well, and sometimes I have to unhide the restriction set. So I don't do the hidden unless. I do the not available unless, so it says right on the screen what is keeping them from getting in there. Because I like hidden unless.
Oh, yes.
Because that's the
But
whole
when
point.
the box doesn't have a check mark in it, and you ask me what am I supposed to do,
the thing that
put a
doesn't
check mark
have
in that box.
Yeah. I have the same thing. You get kids that are like, well, I never saw that. Yeah, because you didn't do everything that was required ahead of time. We're getting off topic. Then and I'm going to put show on course page, and then we've got the access restrictions, which you can say, hey, the only people that are going to be able to see this activity are, let's see, actually I'm going to do even one different. Like I was showing Lon how to do the other day. If you had a separate group, only the people in the demo group can even see this. Otherwise, it's hidden, and that's what poking the eye does. So I just added that restriction. And I was showing Lon how to do that for different groups that he has set up for differentiation. He put his kids in one of his classes in 3 different groups, and then did the you don't see it unless you're in this, you don't see it unless you're in this, you know. So everybody sees the same thing, but they don't know that the things are different. So, and then down here, activity completion, if you're using completion
How would
and
you do it
restriction.
for 3 of them? Because you just did it for 1 right there.
Right. You'd have 3 activities that look the same.
Oh.
One activity is only for this group. Another activity is only for this
Okay.
group. So he made the activity and then copied it. Copy. So
Yeah.
then he has 3 copies of the activity. This one is the base one.
Yeah.
And then this one you can only see if you're not in that one. And this one only can see kind of thing. And then, so students, when they come in, all 3 of these look the same. They only see one that they're part of the group of. And then he's gone in and edited the 3
So
things.
he put
so
those students in those groups.
Yes, he put the students in some kind of a personal differentiation.
Yeah.
But you could do that and also do that with this one single assignment, so that like his says you can't get into it right now unless you have a, let's say a 6.5 from a previous assignment.
Yeah, or you could do it a grade. I mean, I could
Yeah.
have a restriction in here that says unless your grade is above a, let's see, grade on, wow, you can do the category too, but that
Yeah.
would be terrible. These
No,
are all categories.
No. Because if you have an incentive plan and somebody wants to be able to do something fun,
Okay, so
Yeah.
your first quarter grade must be above a 90%. So now, or it's hidden. So now, no. So if their current overall grade is not above a 90%, they would not see this activity. If you wanted to do a bonus
Yeah.
thing,
Oh,
or if your
and-
or your grade is less than,
And-
you have to do
yeah.
this extra activity. If your grade is less than 70%, everybody who is less than 70% is going to do this extra thing to help bring the grade up. Do it like that.
and
That'd be better
and
for
with that
them.
one, they'd also have to be in the demo group as well. But you could
Right,
do,
'cause I've got
you
2
can
of them.
do restriction sets. You can do multiple restriction sets in there based off of individual groups. So you could, the sky's the limit. If you could think of it, you could do it.
So as far as completion, and this goes back to future activities, I can say show activity is complete when students have viewed it and have submitted it. You could also say they've also got to get a grade on it, so I have to have graded it to move on. And then I'm gonna hit save and display. So we've done the basic setup of this one, and then I'm gonna come back in as a student to show what they see, and then come back again to show what we see on the different way. So I'm going to go to my thing here and become my demo student. So I'm going to become, I'm a teacher. So I'm logging in as Ima. So if Ima's in here and sees this reading response thing, then they're going to see, obviously that's not a very big explanation of this assignment. I would have more than that, but it says more things. They've got, this is their first attempt. They haven't tried it yet. It's not graded. It's due on that date. They have 6 hours, or 6 days and 8 hours till it's done. So I'm going to go ahead and add a submission in here. And I'm actually going to grab I was just going to grab some text. So let me see what I can grab here.
Notebook lessons.
Here, I'm going to grab this. Oh wait, this is PowerPoint. Oh, they're in PowerPoint.
Under your, when you have some under notebook.
Well, those are smart notebook things.
Oh.
That one wouldn't do me much. Let me see if I can find a
Hardware class sign.
screening. It's my ippy dippy. I'll grab
That's
my ippy
great.
dippy. I want to grab. Hold on. Let me go to tech.
Wars.
Do that.
We'll be back after these messages.
Actually, okay, sheesh. Oh, okay, so I'm going to grab this proposal just to throw some text in there that doesn't have any students' names on it. That was the thing. I don't want to grab something that's got anything personal on it and then throw that on the video. So this was, I'm just going to grab this text. As far as our eSpark proposal, I grab that. And throw it in here. So this is online text. Obviously, you could have them do it as a MLA essay and have it put it in here, which I just had done. You can also do file submissions. We'll do the online text first and hit Save Changes. I'm going to go back to being me, so I have to log out of IMA, come back in. And we're going to go to the demo area and see what that looks like. So now that there's something submitted, if I hit grade with the new PDF thing, it automatically generates a PDF file of what they submitted right here. So of the ways that we have to do this, we can do feedback right here. We have the feedback box down here, which is right now thrown off to the right-hand side.
So you can mark, you can use the tool at the top.
Yeah, so now I can go and say, draw lines around stuff.
Yeah.
I can go and add comments on here. This
Retype this or something.
is written poorly. Obviously I wouldn't put that. Oh, and I wrote written wrong, so I probably want to spell that better. But I can put whatever comments I want to on the student's file. So that is the Annotate PDF that's new. We always had the feedback comments over here that I could type on.
Yeah.
And then the one that I was saying Deb uses is the feedback files, where she actually saved the file, edited the file, and then dragged the new file back for the students. So if I go and I'm going to go ahead and grade this and say it's a 10, you're great, and save changes.
So then all of them that are submitted would be a separate.
Yes, I would go next. I only have one student in this group,
Okay.
but all I would do was you could either drag down users, which there's only one user in this group, or you can just hit the next button. You go and look at the next one, and every single time it just automatically generates that PDF file. So when I'm done with that, then what they see,
Do you save it or does it save automatically?
it automatically well, I hit save and show me
Okay.
next. There is no next, or it would automatically go to the next kid when I hit that.
Yeah.
Now what they see then, I'm going to go become
I'm on.
Ima again. I just leveled up. Woohoo! I leveled up a couple kids today when I was playing with this, as a matter of fact, level 5. Okay, so if Ima comes back in this now, they see the down here, this new annotated PDF. So this is what they saw before as far as what the assignment was. They see their edit submission. Oh, and there's this submit assignment that if it's still due and they want to say that, hey, I'm ready for it now, if they hit the submit assignment, that's what this is. This assignment is my own work, except for I've acknowledged the use of words of other people. That's the, if you do the acknowledgement thing that says, so basically they're saying, yes, this was my work, and I hit continue, and now it says, see, it went green, submitted for grading. And on my side, it would say that it's submitted for grading too.
Well, then you've already actually graded it, so.
Well, it won't change anything because I already graded it.
Well, no, I'm interested to see whether
But here's what the
actual comment, the typed in comment.
Okay, so they just see down at the bottom, it was graded by me, and here's the annotated PDF. So when they click on that, it brings up the PDF. It's a hover over.
Okay,
so it just shows
collapse.
Whatever I drew, you can see it just drew right on the thing, which I'm not artistic, so it didn't drag right. But any comments I have just collapse to wherever I clicked at that I started the comment. So then the student, as soon as they hover over it, they can see what they. So you could do multiple comments and say run on sentence, bad punctuation, blah blah blah, and they're just going to show up as these little tiny, boxes ahead of time, overhead, little word bubbles, I guess. That then they hover over and you can see what that is. If I've done more. If I've gone and done it again, they get more. So if I can go in and not give them a grade, but do that. And then if they had submitted, I should have not submitted, but if, let's say I went in and graded this and gave them a 7, but they didn't submit it for final thing, really I'm just giving them feedback. Because when they go and edit it, now when I open it for grading, it shows the new file.
So you've made a formative and summative assessment in one assignment. Right.
So I can give them feedback, they see the feedback, they can change their paper, and then I will see what they've changed it to when I go back in again. Because I submitted for grading, I can't change it now, but I could go back and unlock it. So it's pretty cool, because I can give the formative, and I could, if I was using it for, hey, everybody has to have their first draft done by Friday, I'm going to grade first drafts this weekend. This weekend I could go through them all and just give them a little bit of feedback as I go through. They haven't submitted for grading, so they can change their stuff. The next time I look at it, it's going to show whatever they changed it to. So it's pretty neat.
So it never actually goes into the grade book until it's been submitted.
No, because I did it and hit save and went in the grade book.
Yeah.
But I can change it, right?
Well, you hit save.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if they haven't actually officially turned it in.
It's still in the grade book, but there's no grade associated with it, right?
Or would it update if you had it later?
Yeah, if I do it again, it'll change the grade, right?
Right.
Just like anything else, I can change the grade anytime I want to.
Well, no, I'm talking about the student. If theirs is there and you have done the preliminary grade to it.
It does show up. If I put a grade in there, it does show up in the grade book, even though they haven't submitted it.
Because they need to know that. Because if you do this, even if it's prelim grade.
Even if it's prelim grade, it's still going in the grade book.
Well, you'd have to tell them about the hover into the boxes too, I think. They're not
So,
going to discover that maybe.
well, because you mean the students?
Yeah. I mean, you just have to show them how to do it the first time.
Right, and you can see there's 2 different ways to click on this. If I click on the PDF up here, it goes to download it. If I click on the PDF down here where it says view annotated PDF, it pops up.
Well, I tell you, it's not too dissimilar between that and Google Classroom, other than, I would say graphically mildly different, but this way, you don't actually have to enter the grade in twice.
That's true.
Because you do it in Google Classroom,
You got to go and
you have
bring it over.
to end up bringing it in to Moodle.
So I guess the difference now, I see it says submitted for grading up there, which it did not say before. Before it was just, this line wasn't there.
I thought
So
you gave it a 7 out of 10. Did you give it a 10 out of 10?
No, he gave it a 10 out of 10,
Oh,
even though
okay.
it was poorly written.
Yeah, I thought.
But you see what just happened? Because she submitted for grading, because she made changes, all my stuff is gone, okay, because she resubmitted it.
So you can change and
So now
write it again.
right, because if she goes and make changes and re-saves, every single time it comes back in here, my comments are gone again.
But they're still saved.
The other one's down there on the annotated PDF. She can go and see my first round of comments, but it doesn't like reload my comments because she resaved.
So you
English
don't get to
teachers
see your
can-
old ones? You don't get to see your old
They're
comments?
still there. They're still there.
I don't
They're on the
know.
PDF, right?
Right, they're on the PDF that Ima can see, but I don't think there's a way for me to see
You'd
the
have to
previous.
switch back to IMA, you'd have to switch role to student.
Let's see if there's a way. I don't think there is a way. That's the downside. If I'm just giving feedback, right? So that's.
It's good
But
for the
if
students.
if it doesn't have a submitted for grading, it doesn't change because I've already graded it. Just so you know. But now they've said, hey, it's ready for grading. So.
See, that's great for peer editing as they master. You know how they do the steps. That'd be great for English teachers.
So I'm going to go back in here.
I have no idea. I kind of teach computers.
They do peer editing where they grade each other's and annotate like that,
Yeah.
student to student, and then they.
Oh, I do. I still get to see my previous PDF. I have to do it through here.
Okay.
So I can still see the comments I gave before. Oh, this will be interesting. So I'm going to do this. I want to go. I haven't tried this. I'm going to re-give comments and see if it shows both
You have
PDFs
another
on it.
one?
Yeah. So I'm going to go and. Do I always only get red? Oh no, I got a color over here. Let's see. I'm going to go blue this time, and just see what happens. And put a comment down here. Great
Well done.
job. You know, I love my exclamation points. So, so if I do that, and then I come back at it, I don't know if they'll load right away, but if I go to view all submissions, and I
If
go
both of them
down
will be
here,
there.
is it got, now it shows that one. So it overwrote the other one. That's too bad, because it would be nice to see.
Regression.
Yeah, so as soon as I did that, it said, okay, here's now the annotated PDF. So I could see the other
Yeah,
one
but
before.
you definitely understand why not.
Why not?
That you don't get as many of those.
Oh, it could become a mess. If
Oh,
it,
yeah,
saves
you know,
saves
it's like,
all.
oh, look, I
But
got
it would be
an
kind of cool to
extended-
see my initial feedback and then my final feedback. So if I give feedback again, it overwrites the other one. So that's good to know. I'm going to go back in and change the assignment just to show you how the assignment looks different if I have those things off. So if I have annotated feedback types, if I have the annotate PDF off, basically the difference is the middle section. So now I just get the paper in the middle and then my feedback area below. It just kind of gives me more area for that. The reason I don't like this as
But
much,
you can't see it when you're.
because you can't see it, right? You have to hit the plus
Yeah.
to see your whole thing, and it doesn't show up as
Move back and
pretty
forth.
as the other way.
Plus you have to move down, then move back, and.
Yeah,
Can't see
right,
it
right.
while
So
you're
I mean,
making
the
comments.
idea of annotating it is I can put it right on top of where they wrote, whereas down here it's like I can just give this kind of general feedback, right? Even if you do it in line and it copies all that stuff down to there, it's kind of a mess.
It's Moodle 1.9.
Yeah, I mean, it
That's
really
what that
is.
is,
It really
yeah.
is. So I don't like that as much, and even the feedback file, I'm not sure what the purpose is if I could do it all as an annotated one up here. It just takes one thing out of the loop for me when I'm grading
I'd
somebody's
say,
paper.
why is it there? Because it was one line of code and they left it.
But it could be too. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to, oh, I can't. I've got to unlock her. How do I unlock Ima? There's got to be a spot down here to attempt to reopen manually, unlimited.
Allow another attempt. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to say yes. Do I have to save?
Yes.
Save and show next. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to go back and change this assignment again because I think I've just said that's why I don't like that kind of feedback. I'm going to turn back Annotate PDF back on. You know what? I'm gonna comment inline.
I mean,
yes
you could
to.
leave off the feedback file if you wanted to.
Well, I could, yeah, and I don't have it on mine. I'm just kind of showing it. So now I'm gonna actually drop a document in instead to show you what that looks like. So I have to become Ima again.
That would be her submitting a document.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go back in as her to show you what it looks like if she was to actually drag a Word document in there. So if I'm gonna go, I just got this reopened for me because I did such a bad job before. So reopen. This will copy the contents, add a new based on the previous, add a new attempt. This will create a blank submission for you to work on. I'm gonna do that one. I did not know it would do that. So you can either continue your old attempt or do a new one. I'm gonna do a new one because I'm gonna do that file submission, and I hope I can find that file that I just used. Okay, I'm gonna just drag this whole proposal. I'm gonna be interested to see what it looks like, whether it's smart enough to do the graphics and stuff. Okay, so I went and done that, and I'm gonna, should I submit it? Nah, won't submit it. So I grabbed this document, there's no other text. I'm gonna go back to being me and see what that looks like, because it's supposed to go and convert that into the PDF as well.
The interesting thing is can you actually force them to make a whole new attempt? And would it keep the old one whereby you would be able to see the entire history of the development of the assignment?
It's gonna work, it's gonna work, it's gonna work. Yes, look at that. That's awesome. I'm very pleased. So that turned the whole, this was an update, obviously. The whole thing with the graphics and everything into a PDF file. So if, no matter what kids upload, it's going to turn it into a PDF in the background. By the way, I'm really
You
geeking
should
out
have been
about
pretty
this.
sure. Well, I know, but you should have been sure. It just changed a Word document to a PDF.
Yeah, that's
You knew it was going to do
I
that.
didn't know it was going to do the graphics and everything too.
Well, it's supposed to.
Well, I know it's supposed to, but I haven't tried it. So same thing.
It's
We've
always nice
got
when it works.
it's a draft still. It says up here, draft not submitted. So I may not want to grade it yet because I still got a few days left for I'm going to get it done. There's the document. If I want to click directly on the document and look at the document, I just don't know why I do that. When I've got this perfect thing to edit on right here,
Yeah.
I can see it so much better than I could
And you got
before.
your tools right there.
And I've got all the tools to
Well,
give
you can
feedback.
comment on it and save it without actually putting a grade on it.
That is a true
So
statement.
when
I can
Ima
just take and
submits
highlight
it,
this area.
does she save it and that's when it gets submitted?
She has to hit the word submit. So when
Is that
you want me to go back to that?
No.
I'm not looking at it as her.
That's
I'm
fine.
looking at it as
Oh, okay.
me.
I thought you were an Ima.
No,
I
I
thought
was-
she was dragging her document over.
No, she just did. I'm gonna drag her document over, and then I went to look and show what it looks like as a
Okay.
teacher because she never sees that
Okay.
screen, or your students don't ever talking so weird like there's a person called Ima. I'm a teacher.
Yay!
Oh, and she just leveled up to level 3
Holy
month.
cow. What did you put on this assignment?
I don't know. Obviously, I need to look at my levels
Did
because
you add those things, or did you add the levels?
Oh yeah, I added the levels. They're all monks in my hardware class because they stay they're cloistered in the classroom,
Yeah.
and they're rangers in my tech class because
Yeah.
they go out. So I like using the word cloistered in
Yeah.
my classroom too. Anyway,
Cloistered in
so
the store.
back here, she still can edit the submission anytime
And
she
then she
wants
can
to,
submit
but
it,
when
okay.
she's finally done, she hits the submit button down there.
And when she edits, it's PDF for her too. We saw that.
No, when she hits edit the submission, she's back to here, and she can delete this file
Oh.
and then drag a new one there. So this assignment was only set up for
So
one
it's
file.
only changing it to PDF for your.
It's always changing to PDF for me, for the
Okay.
teacher.
By the way, though, back to that page where it says that it's a draft. All right, the coloration between that and the one that's submitted, I think should actually be a little.
Yeah,
bit
one's
more.
yellow, one's green, but they're both very close.
One should be red, the other one be.
Here's my question: what happens when I have? Since I don't know this,
That goes
when
along.
I have text in a file, do they pile them on top of each other?
Yeah, it should.
I don't know. We're gonna see. So I'm gonna see.
Actually, you should end up with actually 2 pages now.
I don't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and submit the assignment just to see. Yes, I did this assignment as my own work,
plagiarized.
and I'm gonna continue. It says it's submitted. Now we're going to go back to being me. This would be really confusing if people were just watching us like, what does he do? Okay, so now what does the teacher see when they've done two things like that?
Oh,
Does it pilot?
2 pages.
What happens here? It says what happens here in the document. Yep, it made it a separate page. So there's what happens here. There's page 2, page 3.
Yeah.
So it makes the text page 1, and then the rest of the Word document, which makes me think that if you did multiple documents, it would put them all together and append them all together as one PDF too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Now as to what order, what it would do, I don't go into that. But
I don't know who would do more than
No.
one. Okay, here's even. What if we did that?
Oh my God.
What if you did a Word, a PowerPoint, and an Excel, and put them all together and see how that.
I guess that.
Oh yeah, what order they actually come in?
Yeah, that would be okay.
Well,
It's gonna
okay,
put it
no,
in
that would
order.
actually.
It's gonna put it in the order you put it in.
View a
Yeah.
different attempt. I would imagine it would,
Yeah.
but I just
Like
don't
separate
know
page,
if
what
it
to
could
do
do
with
it.
those.
Allow another attempt. You know I'm going to do it.
Alright.
I just switched her and locked her.
Oh, is there a limit though? Before you get too far, have you limited the amount?
Yeah,
of
while I'm
files?
here, I gotta do that too.
It's got 5 pages.
Well,
So
it's
no,
a-
the number of
it's-
files. So I've only allowed one file. I'm
Yeah.
going to change that to 3, so that we can come back in as Ima again.
256 bags enough for you?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a big enough file. And now we're just being goofy, but I just wonder, as a Computer 1 teacher, I did have projects that were a Word, a PowerPoint, and Excel. The final product all had to be linked between each other.
But, intentionally put it in a particular order so you can actually see it.
Well, I've already got the
Don't click
Word
on
in
that,
there.
by the way.
I've
Go
already,
back, demo.
wrong one. I've already got a Word in there, so I'm just going to go and add a new attempt on previous submission. So it's still got that. It's still got there. I'm going to drag over. I'm going to drag my Tech Tuesday file, and I don't want to do that.
So, well,
I'm going to drag that. Oh, can I do that?
All right, now see
I
that?
did it alphabetical. It
Oh.
reordered it and did
Yeah.
Are
it
you sure? Well,
alphabetical.
pull and drag. You sure you just didn't drop
Yeah,
it?
no,
No,
and
you
that
put
is
it-
alphabetical. I
you
dragged
put
it
it in
as a
last
third
and put it in
thing.
the middle,
Yeah, it put the files there alphabetical.
so that's how they're gonna be on the pages.
Yeah, I still want to go see. I have a hard time thinking that's a big Excel file. I'd like to see what it's going to do to that Excel file. It may just explode.
Well, you want to take bets on the size of number of sheets?
How many? I don't know how long it will take to resolve it either, because it is a big Excel file. I don't know what it's going to do. Whether it can quickly resolve this, and how is it going to turn that Excel file into a PDF? I may have been a little bit too big.
They smell melting plastic.
I'm willing to wait a second just to see if it actually can handle. I didn't look at if XLS, the Excel format, or the PowerPoint was on that list of.
Oh, there you go, 132 pages.
132 pages. Wow, that's so. There's my Word file, and there's the PowerPoint. It did it in the order that I dropped it, not the order that, because the PowerPoint was next.
Yep.
Was the next one that I dropped,
Whoops.
and then all of a sudden it starts doing the sheets of that PowerPoint, which was a pretty big PowerPoint. So I'm not going to go through that. That's pretty impressive that it was able. So it did do it in the order that we dropped it.
And quickly.
But
That wasn't. I
but
mean,
then
considering it's a
alphabetize-
132 page
But then
PDF.
alphabetize it. Yeah, that's a nice assignment.
That
Worst
is.
teacher ever.
Oh, Excel was second, it moved it.
Yeah, I
well,
dropped the power. I dropped the Word, then I dropped
And
the
you dropped
PowerPoint,
and then you dropped Excel and it
and
moved
then
it.
I accept, and then it made them
And
alphanumeric
they're
here on the
alphabetical
side.
here too.
But it did not. It built the PDF in the order that I dropped it,
Oh.
because I dropped that next.
That's your PDF?
Yeah.
And then
and
Excel's after that?
Yeah, and then the Excel starts very next file.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it built it in the order that I dropped it.
Wow.
Wow, that's pretty cool. It does that. I really like this. I just don't know why, for most things, I would do the comments the other way. And by the way, I turned on inline. So if you,
Well,
if you haven't
that's-
done it that way,
Hey,
with
with-
inline, it goes and copies whatever text you have here and lets you type next to it, but it doesn't understand the files. So you'd never be able to comment on a paper that they drag and dropped.
And they would be confused.
Yeah, so I will probably have, unless I'm going to use one word feedback of great, but why would I use inline anymore? Inline doesn't make any sense. So, I mean, honestly,
if you're actually using a file, if you're not using a file, but you're using straight type into
even
text
then
box.
inline doesn't make sense. I'd rather do the PDF.
All the way around. Well, that's the thing, is that if for some ungodly known reason somebody would do 132 pages,
See,
would you actually want to do the file?
Yeah.
Because then you have however many kids you have times
Yeah.
132 pages,
yeah, so I turned all those off now, so that now we're just looking at this. So I don't have any of those things on the side. The only thing I have on the side now is the grade that I still have the PDF right here that I can go through the whole PDF. But now on the right hand side, because I turned off the file and I turned off the the feedback comments, I've just got my grade box to give them, and I've got the thing that allows them
It's
to
very
read.
pointy.
It does. And that's on this little tiny screen. I mean, because I've got low resolutions. This
Oh,
1024. How do we physically?
bigger than my TV at home,
I
man.
did 1024 by 768 on this, so every single teacher has a bigger resolution than this on their screen, pretty much. I just don't want it to not be viewable on something else. So that's all. I mean, that's really what I wanted to show, is how kind of cool it is to be able to give text feedback. What's the hand do? Oh, just sliding it
Moves
around.
it
And this is
like a pulling curtain in the window.
what's the difference
I
between
would
this?
on our
change the
back
color,
there.
change the color of the background Post-it.
Oh, okay. So when I'm doing the note,
Yeah.
it changes the
So if
color
you
of
don't
the
like
note.
that manila
Yeah.
color.
Okay, I
Folder.
gotcha.
Yeah.
This one allows me to look within my own comments to see if there's something else there. Obviously, got squiggles, lines, boxes, circles, highlight. What color am I highlighting in here? I really like the fact that it's obviously OCR'd as well. The PDF is, or it wouldn't know that that's a line of text, because when I go see how it's
Yeah.
maybe it's just guessing separate lines. No, I don't think so. And then what's this one for?
Stamp.
Yeah, go up there,
Wrong,
and change the X to something else.
Change it to
Oh, I got you.
change it to a correct.
So I can make a
check.
happy face too.
Yeah.
Yay,
You
good
can check
job.
it.
Is there a sad
That's how
face?
great
Oh,
it
like sad
X's and
face.
checks.
Yeah, there you go. I don't like that part. Too bad there.
Key for 206.
Yeah. You know, key for 206.
I don't know where my keys are.
I do in my room. Can we go get mine?
No, I got them.
I can bring them back to you.
Taking.
Okay.
I'll need it. I can
Is he
represent.
taking?
Thank you.
This is tape.
Well, honestly, we're done. That was 45 minutes there anyways, and that's what I wanted to show, and I really wanted to have something recorded for the English teachers, and really for any teacher that's using the
Yeah,
assignment
they
thing.
should come.
I should point out for you, Judy, I don't know if you've looked at it, but I added the, in the assignment stuff, where's that, edit submissions? The enhanced math, I don't know if you've looked at that.
Uh-uh.
So when you get the
Oh,
basic,
yeah, with
you get the basic
bar
boxes
out?
now.
Yes, I did. It's got all the
And now when I go
tools.
down, you've got all the equation tools now.
Yep, I did notice that.
Okay.
I was really surprised.
I
because
had forgotten.
I always have to do it in Word, you know, up there.
Right,
and
so now you can go and actually put in
Right.
it has all kinds of, I don't know why
Yeah.
we need Greek symbols, but I guess you could.
Some of them like the and such
So
that. That's the one you
how's
just
that work?
used.
You just, okay, so that's what it looks like. You type in what A and B is, and then
Yeah.
it would go and put it in.
I did notice
What does
that
it
on your
look like
last
then?
thing. It would have.
Does
the
it look
drop-down.
right when you save it?
You click the, back up for a minute. You just click that down arrow, right? Is that what I did to do it?
Yeah, I want to see. Oh, it did it. Okay, so it made it look just like it just.
Summation.
It just didn't look like it when I was on the other
Okay,
page.
go back to that for a minute. The edits, yeah. And then it's the left arrow, that's it, right?
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
goes and says, oh, give me all the other
Yeah,
tools.
okay,
So this is the basic toolbar and this is the advanced stuff
yeah,
on the toolbar.
okay.
So nice that they changed it.
Yeah, there was nothing,
Well, no, I mean, the thing,
Brian, are you
remember
turned
the
on?
box?
I'm not, but I'm going to right now.
Okay, 'cause I
We're
wanna ask
done,
you-
so let me see, I'm supposed to be Alt 0 to stop.